Alright, what's going on everybody, it's Liam here and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the new gear audit, stat audit thing that KingsIsle tweeted out on Twitter. The dev said, obviously if you look at the tweet here, I'll throw it up on screen, that they'll be adjusting a couple of gear stats for all levels 50, 100, 150, and 160. So this is a good news for a lot of PvP players, and this is also going to affect PvE players. We might potentially see things like the Storm Malistaire robe get audited or changed potentially, which would be pretty cool. Waterworks gear potentially, maybe even as well. Who knows? And obviously the big problem of stat distribution at max level is a huge problem. Now keep in mind, I am somebody who does max level, so I don't know much about low level. I'll briefly talk about it in this video, but I obviously have every single school maxed out here. As you can see on my account, I do a lot of PvP, as you guys know here on the channel, that's no secret. So I have a pretty good idea on what I'm talking about for at least the max level stat distribution, and I want to talk about that in this video. So what a lot of players are hoping this change does is effectively make stat balance make more sense. Now, if you don't know, when 5th Age came out, a lot of the community did not like the new gear, the massive gear overhaul, gear audit KingsIsle did for level 150 with the Lemuria update. A lot of players didn't like that, both PvE players, because, you didn't get pips or accuracy as a PvE player, so why would you run Merciless, right? Or both PvP players, because you'd run into problems where Storms need to run 3 accuracy talents on their pets, and at that point they're losing trades, right? So it's a huge problem for both sides of the spectrum. So what I'm really hoping this does basically is just audit that, and in my opinion there's 3 huge problems with the gear audit system right now. Five of the schools are really good. Okay, death stats are really good, miss stats are really good, balance, life, and ice stats are really good. So that only leaves the 2 hitting schools, which is Storm and Fire. And the main 2 issues these guys have is their health, resist, and their accuracy right now in the meta. For example, if a Storm gets hit by a balance with that new scale spell, one time, that's a quarter of their health gone, right? And the balance can literally do it every turn. If a balance magnifies and scales 4 times in a row, the Storm is dead before the Shad even comes into play, right? And he can't kill the balance before he kills him because he doesn't have cards that powerful. And it's a lot of little things. It's not something very simple, obviously. We have, obviously, the stat Rochambeau wheel. I think I'll have an image on screen if I can find that for y'all. But Storm is supposed to be a health school, and you get 8,000 health, bro. Like, what are you talking about, man? Don't really get that. I'm not asking for Storm to have, like, 14k or anything like that, but it doesn't really make sense. It should be up there with, like, Fire at, like, 9.2 or 9.3 or something like that to help compete with, the meta schools, which are Balance, Ice, and Life. What do they all have in common? They have good stats, and they have a lot of health, and they have a lot of utility, right? Or you look at schools like Death with the recent update here. Objectively speaking, Death gained resist, and they gained damage this update compared to 150. Deaths before running 50 resist, now they have 70 resist this update with more damage, sorry. The same Pierce, and just gained resist and gained health and didn't give up anything, basically, right? And then you look at Storm, right? The Glass Cannon school of Wizard101, objectively having the worst stats, right? Fire is a close second, but Storm having the objectively, worst stats, they just lost Pierce, they lost damage, which I can't even comprehend this. I can't comprehend it, bro. Like, what are you doing, KingsIsle? So I'm really hoping that this new audit does something about that, because it's so dumb, man. And like, so many players would compare like the Merciless Storm robe to the Merciless Death robe, and they're just like, be like, dude, like, what is KingsIsle thinking? And there's just clearly a huge community disconnect there. Or if you compare the Life Void boots to the Storm Void boots, why is a Life only getting 1 less Pierce than me? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So we've pointed out the flaws with the system, and again, the main 3 problems with the gear audit at level 150 for Storm and Fire. Again, the 2 schools that have the worst stats at, you know, max level, that is like an objective fact. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna come out and say it. Like that's how it is. They have the 2 worst stats in the game right now, and that reflects in the win rate. Again, if we look at Twitter, Storm and Fire are last. I don't know why Fire's lower than Storm. Fires have been absolutely like destroying the queue. I really don't know why. My Fire barely loses, so I don't really know why Fire's that low. If I had to guess, it's probably because Balance and Life are really good, and they both counter Fire. That's probably my guess, but I'm kind of surprised why Fire's that low. Anyways, getting a bit off topic. Yeah, I just really like to see these schools get, you know, health, resist, and accuracy buffs. All 3 would be nice. 2 would be nice. 1 big buff would be nice as well. I just don't see why, if I'm running a sniper pet with, you know, whatever I want, right? If I want to run sniper with full Aeon, right? I feel like my gear, if I want to run full Aeon, I want to hit hard. I want to have good stats, right? I'm running sniper on my pet, so I shouldn't fizzle, period, right? But that's not the case. I only have 27 accuracy if I do that, right? As you can see right here, it's pretty bad, right? And then your health obviously is horrible. Fire has the exact same issue right now at max level, but with these schools, even if you run a sniper pet and a piece of utility gear, which KingsIsle wants you to do, you still do not get max accuracy while you're giving up your playstyle, while you're giving up a whole pet talent, which is a whole 7% damage, which is a lot to give up for when you're already 5,000 health behind, right? So yeah, man, at max level, I'm just really hoping for one of those 3 buffs: accuracy, health, or resist for Storm and Fire right now. Then, like I said, a couple other examples are like Death, like they have damage and resist, but why do they have Pierce? Why do they have health, right? What's another example? Life, I guess you could take a Life, kinda. They have, what is it, health and healing, but then why is their damage so high? Why is their Pierce so high? Why is their resist so high? You know, things like that. I guess you could maybe argue Ice too, but I feel like Ice is almost balanced aside from a couple of things. I feel like Ice is just kind of good because resist and the blimp buddy pet still hasn't got nerfed, I guess. But I don't know, man. It's a lot of simple things, but the simple things can become complex sometimes, kinda. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about for max level. I think I got my point across. I think y'all understand. Again, I'll have images up on screen in the video, you know, visually showing you guys what I'm talking about when I say Storm is a health school, when I say Death is damage and resist. You'll see that on the Rochambeau wheel. Now, at lower levels, we might see things like the Malistaire robe not be meta for Storm anymore. And I'm just gonna say, it's already not meta. The best robe for Storm is the Nullity robe. It's literally just not better than the Malistaire one. And it's literally better in every single way. Like, it just is. It's ridiculous. It's so good, right? So you're gonna definitely want to get this robe. But we might see KingsIsle, you know, since Storm is so powerful at Exalted, I've heard, we might see KingsIsle come in and nerf Storm stats at Exalted, because a lot of people have been complaining about that, you know, dude. But I feel like there's a big PvE audience that this might affect as well if they nerf the Malistaire robe or touch it. More players are going to have to get into raids and stuff like that, which isn't a bad thing, you know, I guess as a dev, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that's a little bit alarming, because you're almost essentially pushing players out of their comfort zone, right? If players like their Waterworks gear at level 60 or Exalted, or, you know, their Malistaire robe or whatever the hell they like, and then they change it, players could almost feel offended in a way. I feel like, you know, dude, they'll be like, what the hell, KingsIsle? Why would you do that to my robe? I spent X amount of hours trying to get this robe, and you just got rid of it, you know, dude? So I feel like KingsIsle needs to be very, very careful with these upcoming gear changes, especially the ones that affect PvE. So I'm talking about Malistaire robe. I'm talking about, like, I don't know, Malistaire gear from level 50 as well. Maybe Waterworks gear, stuff like that. And at max level, the problem is already as bad as it can be, you know. They just gotta do something about it, man. They gotta do something about it, man. It's just, Death shouldn't be having 52 Pierce with obviously damage, resist, and health. You can't, as the devs say, you can't have everything. But then why does life, balance, ice, all of them, why do they get everything then, you know? So I'm just really hoping this gear changes really fixes this problem, guys. I've been complaining about it for like a year now, but I figured I would make one last video talking about it, and I'm hoping that, you know, this is it. This is where they fix stats. I'm really hoping. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be a big change, a small change? What do you think needs to be changed and what doesn't need to be changed? I'm kind of curious, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. And as always, take care, guys.